So first things first, when it comes to the clip I'm about ready to show you, I wasn't aware that the Supreme Court could just unilaterally overturn an amendment in the Constitution. But that's what this person is hoping that this 6-3 conservative Supreme Court does.
Well, it certainly gives us an opportunity to look at those congressional districts again. Gives us a chance at all of them if we give some reprieve from the courts. And so we'll see how that goes, and certainly hope that the Supreme Court will overturn Amendment 14 and gives us a shot to revisit those.
What would you say from your perspective? I mean, other than Mr. Pro Tem, everyone was relatively silent on the goings-ons. What would you say from your perspective is the biggest misconception about what the bills do, and a message that you'd like to see out there?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the biggest misconception is, the thing about it is, people tend to forget what happened when this thing went to court before. We actually, the Republican Party had that seat in Mobile, number 2 seat, that's the congressional seat 2, so the district 2, and so that was one of the things. There's been a push through the courts to try to overtake some of these red state seats, and that's certainly what happened in that one. And with the ruling that happened in Louisiana, we felt like it gave us a chance to maybe regain that seat, but also opened up District 7. So I think that's happened. All we need now is the courts to overturn 14, and we can look at a new election. The thing is, if we did nothing was going to happen. And I applaud the governor for calling us back in and give us a chance to revisit that and look at it. And what happened here in Montgomery in that Senate seat probably should never happen to begin with. And so, of course, I'm at the point that probably none of it should happen to begin with. We got 3 branches of government. It's our job to legislate, to draw those district lines, and for the court to interfere with that. And to be honest with you, I thought it was a slap in our face, because we'd spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in reapportionment drawing those maps, and they let an 18-year-old kid from the university, or I don't know how old he was, maybe 19, send the map in, and they took it without consideration for what we had done. And, the way that the system is set up, that's the job of the legislative body. And I think we've done it in an appropriate way, and it's disappointing that they didn't follow that rule.
So first things first, he doesn't like it when the courts step in and mess with the states drawing the congressional lines. You mean like what happened in Virginia? The people of Virginia actually had a chance to vote on whether or not they wanted it, unlike in your state and Louisiana and Florida and Texas and every other red state that's gerrymandered so far. The people of Virginia were given a chance to go to the ballot box and vote on whether or not they wanted it, and they voted for it. And the judges stepped in and said no, and took that away from them. So are you pissed off at the Supreme Court of Georgia? Of Virginia? I'm betting you're not, right? Because that one doesn't fit the narrative. But more to the point, he wants the Supreme Court to overturn Amendment 14. Just so we all know what Amendment 14 is, it's this amendment here. Section 1 says all persons born or naturalized in the United States and are subject of the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States. So he wants that thrown out. If you're born here, you don't get to be a citizen. It talks about how representatives shall be apportioned. There's a section talking about senators and what they can and cannot be and can and cannot do. There's a section talking about the public debt, and a section talking about how the Congress will have power to enforce by appropriate legislation the provisions of this article. So right off the bat, he wants to strip away your ability to be called a citizen if you were born in this country. But more to the point, Supreme Courts are not supposed to be able to overturn amendments. Are you guys telling me that if there was a liberal president and a liberal Congress and a bunch of Supreme Court justices either retired or died and they were replaced by liberals, and all of a sudden we had a 6-3 liberal Supreme Court and a case came before that Supreme Court dealing with gun rights, and the Supreme Court decided to, in your words, overturn Amendment 2, you'd be cool with it? I bet not.